All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the grand finale of the How to Be a Salesperson series. Video 9, The Professional Salesperson, Service and Ethics. Listen, we are going to completely shift our mindset today. We're ditching that exhausting transactional hunter mentality, constantly chasing the next deal, and we're learning exactly how to become relationship-driven farmers. And as you can see, this really is the culmination of the CWT Masterclass on how to actually succeed in sales. We're not doing quick tips and tricks today, no way. We're talking foundational philosophy, the stuff that separates the fly-by-night amateurs from the absolute pros.
So here's our roadmap for today. We've got 5 key areas to cover. 1, service as a calling. 2, the sales the beginning. 3, building business friendships. 4, integrity and character. And finally, 5, the great harvest law. Let's just dive right in.
Starting with Section 1, service as a calling, shifting from taking to giving.
Okay, look at this definition of selling. Unselfishly making a contribution to the welfare of others without expecting anything in return. The absolute game changer here is that word unselfishly. When you actually adopt that, it completely flips a high-stress job into a truly noble calling. You are genuinely making a contribution to someone else's life.
And, well, if that sounds a bit too lofty, let's bring it back down to earth with the grandmother analogy. Ask yourself, would you treat your own grandmother selfishly? Would you pressure her into buying something she doesn't actually need just to hit your quota for the month? Of course you wouldn't. You'd treat her with total honesty and care. And honestly, applying that exact same level of care to your clients is a learned competency that separates the absolute best from the rest of the pack.
And if you're wondering, does this actually work? Check this out. 80%, up to 80%, sometimes even more, of future sales for many organizations actually come from present customers and their referrals. Think about that. If you're out there only hunting for new business, you're literally ignoring the massive 80% of revenue that comes from simply treating people right and serving them well over time.
Which perfectly tees up Section 2, the sale is the beginning, bridging the relationship gap. We are flipping the script on the close right now. Look at this comparison here. Transactional selling is when you make the pitch, get the signature, and boom, you vanish. But partnering, relationship selling, that means you're continuously working to improve your customers' operations and profits long after they buy. Transactional selling is just going to lead to constant churn and burnout, for sure. Partnering is how you build a sustainable long-term career where clients actually view you as an essential asset.
Because otherwise, you hit what we call the relationship gap. This happens when your concern as a salesperson just totally drops off right after the sale. But guess what? That is the exact moment the customer's interest and need for support completely spikes as they start using what you sold them. True professionals, they don't let this gap happen. They bridge it by providing excellent proactive follow-up service.
Moving right along into Section 3, building business friendships, from contacts to confidants.
This is where your client relationships really evolve. It's a progression. Step 1, you're just an acquaintance, right? Trust is pretty low. But then, over time, with consistent, unselfish service, you hit Step 2, you become a trusted friend. And the holy grail is Step 3, intimate business friend. This is where you share deep mutual interests, and you might even share personal hardships. But heads up, you can't rush this. It can literally take 3 years or more to reach this third, intimate level. And once you're there, you've got to protect it fiercely. Maintaining that kind of business friendship actually requires structure, like defining clear expectations from the start. It means totally abandoning the need to control the client. And honestly, the biggest thing, you have to completely remove the pressure to buy. You never ever squeeze a true friend for a sale just to hit your own self-interest. You are there to serve them, period.
All right, on to Section 4, integrity and character, the foundation of trust. If we're sticking with our farming metaphor, this is the rich soil where these deep relationship roots actually grow. Think of the connection with your buyer as a bridge of trust, and as you can see, that bridge is entirely supported by pillars of truth. It's pretty simple. Trust just literally cannot exist without truth. Your words have to be completely consistent with reality and facts. You cannot fake this.
I absolutely love this quote. Character is who you are when no one is looking and what you are willing to stand for when someone is looking. Let's just let that heavy ethical concept sink in for a second. It's that stark contrast, right, between your public actions and your private integrity. Never compromise your values for a single sale, because your character is the only thing keeping that bridge standing over a lifetime. And it all really boils down to our ultimate moral compass, the golden rule of personal selling. It simply means treating others exactly how you'd want a salesperson to treat you. If you wouldn't want to be pressured, misled, or completely abandoned after a purchase, then just don't do it to your clients. It really is that simple, and honestly, that profound.
Which leads us to our final section, the Great Harvest Law, the farmer's approach to sales.
Here is the ultimate law that ties this whole masterclass together. The Great Harvest Law of Sales. How you treat others determines how you will be treated. You reap what you sow. A true professional is exactly like a farmer. They plant one single kernel of corn, and then they patiently wait months, knowing that one kernel is eventually going to produce hundreds more. You plant seeds of service, and you patiently wait for the trust to grow.
And this leads to what the source material calls the golden rule paradox. It's a paradox because it feels so counterintuitive at first, you know? By unselfishly putting the customer first and totally forgetting about your own immediate gains, you actually end up receiving way more than you give. Those small acts of genuine kindness and service over time compound into massive long-term returns for your career. And the result of dedicating your life to others in this way? You get to enjoy the 9 fruits of the selling spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. When you apply the Golden Rule and the Great Harvest Law, your career isn't just financially productive, it becomes abundantly joyful and emotionally fulfilling. So, I'm going to leave you with a powerful thought to end our explainer today. Take a real look at your own daily habits, your sales competencies, and your interactions even just from this morning. Ask yourself, what kind of harvest are you planting today? Are you sowing transactional seeds of self-interest, or are you actually planting deep roots of unselfish service that'll yield a truly bountiful lifelong career? Thank you so much for joining me for this amazing masterclass, and as always, keep learning and keep growing.